wouldn't you know, the audio is up. Boom! All of a sudden, the video shows up and it goes crazy. We're back for session 2 tonight. If you joined us for the dinner time, thank you for enjoying some cocktail and dinner music with us. It was great. Holy cats! We're having dessert.
All right.
I did not know this. Yes, so this is our Q&A time. This is our playing build a set with a song that we have gotten up, and it was actually one that was sent in again. So this is kind of cool. People are like, "Hey, here, build a set with this song." My only thing is I want it to be something that is somewhat plausible as a request at an event.
Yeah. Don't give me Bungle in the Jungle by Jethro Tull. That's not going to happen.
Oh, I was thinking country music, because that's just right down your forte.
Doesn't it matter? You just throw country music, just keep throwing it out there. It's all the same. Like hip hop. It's a great hip hop set. I've never heard these songs before in my life. I just put them in order.
Wow, you did awesome, man. You know your music.
Glad you liked it.
Okay. So yeah, if you were just joining us, you just missed our show where we were talking about some songs that you could be using during the cocktail time frame and such. And Brian, you had something you just mentioned you were this past weekend.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I was going to mention it in the last show, and I didn't. I did a great contemporary country dinner set at the last show. They were really into the new stuff. Elmer Dinkley or whoever the hell he is. I don't know, the country stuff. That was our dinner music. It was all that stuff. It's not really danceable, but it's kind of a up-tempo country. We did 2 hours of it, and it was great. People really liked it, and they appreciated hearing those songs. So you can do all kinds of stuff with this. You don't have to just go with the love songs, or you don't have to just go with the jazz or the big band or whatever. Do whatever. If the client is into something that isn't danceable, this is the perfect opportunity to play it at something like a wedding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
yeah.
That's always kind of sometimes fun to be able to, and I say sometimes because there's times where you've got so many things going on and you don't want to have to think that hard. But boy, there's times where they'll be like, yeah, just, mix it up. I don't want to have no piano, no, just go and have some fun with it. And
I think the key is just to not put them to sleep, I mean, you don't want to get them dancing yet, but you don't want them to sleep. And some of this music's sleepy that people want to play. And I've actually, like smooth jazz, they come in on Outfits USA and Prime Cuts.
Mm-hmm.
They don't come in through promo only. But, sometimes I'll just blindly throw smooth jazz songs on, and I always regret not previewing them because sometimes they're so sleepy.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get these people warmed up, not cooled off.
And that's unfortunately what a lot of that can be.
And it's been a long day already. So, and people are tired, and when you eat a big meal, are you tired or are you awake? I want to go to bed. I'm a 45-year-old man. It's time to take a nap. So I try to have empathy for my audience and not encourage the nap. So something awesome happened at my gig, though, that I have to share with all of you. And I was so excited about this.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't let it go unnoticed. I haven't posted a gig log yet. Maybe I'll do that tonight after I finish my work upstairs. I just started playing dance music for my party on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a lot of little kids there. And this little boy, he must have been about 8 or 9 years old, started walking toward me. And he wasn't even at the table yet. He was looking right at me. And he said, "Excuse me." He wasn't impolite or anything. It was cool.
Mm-hmm.
But the coolest thing happened. It was magical. His mother grabbed him by the arm and yanked him away and said, "Leave him alone. He's working." It restored my faith in humanity. That was the most awesome thing. And I went up to the mom and said, "I just want to let you know, that was awesome." And she said, "What? What just happened?" "Well, what just happened?" I said, "You actually told the kid to, no, let the big people play for a while." She said, "Well, yeah, that's how you do it." I'm like, "No, that's not how most do it, but that's how you do it. And thank you for doing that."
Mm-hmm.
It was magical, dude. That was awesome.
Yeah, wow, you don't see that too often.
No, you don't. I won't forget it. I will not forget that mom. She was cute. She was young. But she was like, "No, leave him alone. Just dance. That's what you just dance. Just enjoy what's being played right now."
Wow. Wow, we've talked about that. Yeah, that doesn't happen.
That was beautiful. I love it.
Matt, I'm not sure if you're having problems with the stream or not. Everything seems to be streaming okay.
Well, Matt's laughing at my thing. So
Okay, good. So everything is going well for you guys. Okay.
yeah. I'm still in a high from it.
Yeah, I would imagine so, because most of the time it's the other way. It's like, oh, what is it? What kind of questions did you have for the DJ? Go up there and ask, and
talk to him.
see if he'll let you push some buttons and have some fun. Oh, look, there's little Joey. He's being a DJ. Go,
It's so
DJ.
cute.
Go. Yeah.
Hey, Jordan, go up there and see what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Ask him to play something from your favorite Yo Gabba Gabba song show.
Macklemore Downtown into Good Vibrations from Marky Mark. Huh. Did you, Ian, did you play the whole Downtown? Because it gets to that point in there where it's got that weird kind of break that's going on.
You know, I still have really good luck with Can't Hold Us. That's like the big tune.
Surprisingly.
First Shop is a cool follow-up to that one. But I get so much energy out of Can't Hold Us.
Yeah.
So much energy. It's I can't not play it if I've got that crowd.
Yeah. It astounds me how much that song will work, and it has a little wider age group than I would imagine.
Yeah.
And
tunes like Downtown, I mean, there's a group that's going to like that. But if you'd never heard a Macklemore song, if you'd never heard one, and you were like my mom, who, by the way, I'm sure knows who Macklemore is and has heard Macklemore because she's just a cool 75-year-old lady. But if your mom has never heard this, she's at a wedding, and she hears either Downtown, Thrift Shop, or Can't Hold Us. Which one is she going to stay on the dance floor for?
Probably the one that has.
And she's going to, and she's going to jump around with everybody else because the energy is just happening and it's cool. And
yeah, very, very much so. All right, let's get into some of the questions.
Yes.
This one's an easy one. Now, what software do you use with your DJ playback?
Well, I use Virtual DJ, the 8, and I also use a very, very, very old version of Mixmaster Pro 6. It's like 12 years old, but I know it very well. And being the one-handed DJ, it's really easy for me to use. And I can do some killer stuff with that live. Killer stuff that it would be very difficult to do with something like VDJ.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't buy it, can't get it. I just have it. And
yeah, I don't think it's supported, or it's not there anymore.
There's nothing out there and people hate on it. Man, let me tell you, I've put on some of the best performances. It's almost like DJing with Ableton. If Ableton was more DJ friendly, that's what it feels like. I really like it. I can do some crazy stuff with that software. I can do super easy loops. I can see what's going on. I can create long timelines. So I can go do things like dinner. We talked about dinner music and cocktail music. There's a situation where I have to mingle during dinner or cocktail, which I do sometimes.
Yep.
I want to get to know this crowd. I'll walk up to the oldest table there and say, yeah, I know the troublemakers when I see them. And they laugh at me and we talk. And I let them know, hey, I'm your DJ. What do you want to hear? I can do that when I've just got a timeline running.
Yep.
I can do that in that program. So that's what I use.
Yeah. And that's why there's some programs that I like to use just for that. Because you can make crates, and you can get an auto segue or you do auto things, but there's just some programs that can handle a preset playlist much better.
It all just seems like a flight simulator to me. It's like, okay, either you have 2 turntables in a mixing board, or you have a computer. Why do you emulate 2 turntables and a mixing board on a computer when you have a computer that can do amazing things? But that's my very unique way of thinking, because most people out there do not think the way I do. And the whole argument is, well, you use that kind of stuff, you never learn how to use your turntables. Dude, turntables? You want to talk turntables? I got turntables.
Mm-hmm.
I got a few records too.
Yeah, just 2 or 3.
Yeah, a couple. Just left over from the old days, but I'm sending them out to the museum soon. But yeah, I don't know. What works for you is what you should use as a DJ. What you're comfortable with, what's stable is what you should use as well. What's stable with your computer and your software. So,
okay. I have a variety of things, and I'm doing some high school dances. I use Virtual DJ. When I'm doing weddings, I will do mega sag most often, just because I like that playback ability, and to put that hard stop in. So I know that it's going to play 4 songs and it's going to stop. And it shows me that it's going to stop at 6:59 and a half, because I need to be stopping there to do an introduction. So I'm ready at 7 o'clock for something.
I did that exact same thing at my wedding Saturday, because I knew, because I could see what my time left was.
Yep.
I knew I had to bring the wedding party in at 6:20, but I had to be down there with the wedding party, get them organized, talk them through some things, because it was an intricate grand entrance with, I think, 6 different songs. So I was busy, but I had that thing set up to pause at 6:20. So if I was a little late getting upstairs, the music would stop. And when the music stopped, the next track that was on was my first song on my grand entrance.
Yeah.
I had to line it up and spend that time lining up 6 songs. It was right there. I hit play and it was go. So it very handy tool. Very handy tool.
Very good stuff. Let's see. Ian had a question here, and we'll just dive right into that one. How do you keep the kids away from your lights? And they're talking about that in the chat room a little bit. He mentions that he has a couple of large moving head lights, and the kids want to ride the dang things. Speaking of riding your gear, I have these Bose pole speakers, and I was doing this drunken corporate event. But anyway, let's get back to the lights. It was the attorney's secretary, the attorney's secretary's convention or something like that. So secretaries from
like cherry pie or something.
And it was and that particular night, and yeah.
Now, just admit it, John. I'm the favorite co-host on the Jackie News YouTube channel. Just admit it right now. Let's get it out of the way. I know Bill Herman isn't watching. I know he's not.
Yeah, none of the other ones are watching. So yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Your question.
The question is, how do you keep the kids away from lights? And
keep kids away from lights. Geez, what can you do? I was really nervous this week because I had a lot of battery-powered stuff on the floor for uplights. A lot of kids, but I got real lucky with it. Nobody messed with anything. But what I take a lot of what do I want to say? God, I'm searching for words tonight. This is terrible. I'm happy that I know the kids aren't going to get hurt on the lights. That's the main thing. I don't want anybody to get burnt or hurt or anything.
Right. And now that we've gone LED, that's taken a lot of that out of.
Oh yeah, I've got a picture that I'll show clients sometimes from a couple of years ago. I've got some kind of tri-LED fixture. It's a big diodes on it. It's really bright, and there's a baby just got his hand right on it. It was from a wedding, and the baby was playing with it. And the mom was like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "No, it's okay. It's not hot." And she said, "Well, that's cool." I said, "Well, can I take a picture of this? I want to show people that it's okay."
Yeah.
The kid looks right at me and take this picture, and I still use this picture.
Nice.
But some, I don't know, get them up in the air, I guess. If you've got heads, get them up. How tall is a kid? 4 feet tall? Get them up in the air.
Yeah.
I've got heads on my table. Sometimes I have issues. Sometimes I don't. Usually if I just look and say, don't touch it. Let me get on the microphone because loud voices scare kids. And I don't mind scaring kids to kid. Don't touch it. No, that's the best. Just get them off the floor. You can.
Yeah. Ian mentions that that he has them on the floor, and that's getting them up on the. And a lot of the newer, you're going to hear this more and more with the newer moving head fixtures that are coming out, is that they have the ability to have like a Showbay refers to it as a totem setting, but there's going to be those types of settings in the lights, and there are going to be more programs in those, so that you can put them on top, and they're going to still do what you need them to do, and look really, really cool. It's not going to be.
ADJ's been doing the same thing for years. They call them show modes.
Yeah.
So you can go like right side up, front of house only.
Yep.
Right side up, everything. Or you could get upside down, front of house only, or upside down, everything.
Exactly. And
typically there's 4 different show modes or whatever zippity doo dah modes they want to call them, whoever the light manufacturer is, that you can use to make the lights perform best at the position you ultimately put them in.
The only thing I would recommend is if you guys are using some of the larger moving head fixtures, even some of the brand new ones that are coming out, some of those are a little bit too big to be mounting horizontal. They need to be either vertical, straight up or straight down. Some of the small ones.
The only time, in fact, no one that I know of recommends that you mount a moving head anyway, right side up or upside down.
Yes, that's the official recommendation.
But The little stuff, like the
Yeah.
pocket spots, the head weighs nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And even ADJ at the trade shows will mount the things horizontally.
And it looks pretty awesome.
If you look at the manual, it tells you not to.
Not too.
If you look at the demo video, they do it. So if Alfred says it's cool, then I think it's you can go ahead and get away with it. But most of the time, John's absolutely right. Either upside down or right side up.
Yeah.
That's the option.
Okay, next question. Okay, I'm just checking the chat. Question was, how many microphones should I have at a wedding? So I'm guessing they were talking about the dance type in their prior to this. So I'm going to guess at the reception. How many microphones would you recommend?
I go 2. What do you got?
I will have 2 wireless and 1 wired as an ultimate backup, because I'm always afraid of that time, and we've heard the stories where something wasn't there interference wise, and then it'll be the interference. And if I have 1 wired that's ready to go, I can pop to that and use that while I'm switching station or frequencies if I need to. But 2 is, I've never used more than 2 at a reception.
Well, I've talked about this before. The microphone you're looking at right now is my mic that I use at wedding receptions for some cool sentimental rock star reasons, and because I like a dedicated microphone. No one uses my microphone. The reason no one uses my microphone is this is a wired mic. I only got one hand, dude. I'm not running around with a wireless mic. I put it on a stand because I can't hold a mic and talk and run a mixing board at the same time. I can do one or the other with one hand.
Yeah.
So on the stand, I'm talking in it. No one else touches it. They can touch and spit on and do whatever they want to do with the wireless mic I have. That's the guest mic. I don't talk on the guest mic because I'm not going to get the plague.
Yep.
But that's for my health. And maybe some of you may think it sounds a little obsessive compulsive, but I need to stay healthy. There are a lot of germs out there, and the last thing I need to do is have just random people spitting in my windscreen.
Yep, and it happens.
So I keep this, and that way you got a wired option, and you got to swap those out every gig.
Yep.
You have a wired option, and you have a wireless option.
The reason this one is on my desk is I buy these. I think I buy them by the half dozen or dozen, whatever they were. But I've gotten multiple. And I ordered them, and I usually buy black because it blends in. I got an order that had red and green and blue and the different colors. It's like, what the hell do I want that for? So that's why it's become a toy on my desk.
They're kind of cool.
Yeah, they would. And I did use them once because there was a time where I needed to identify. I was running 4 wireless mics. I needed to identify. But then I had someone mention, it looks like a clown puked on your microphones if they're all the color.
You know what it reminds me of? It's like Dick Clark American Bandstand 1974.
Oh, my.
That's what the vibe I'm getting. The Brady Bunch Variety Hour or something,
Yeah, you could do that.
Kind of retro. I like it.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, this was a question that somebody sent in today, actually. How do you stop idiots from doing the mic drop?
Oh, man. The first mic drop I ever had was by a high school principal.
No way.
Yeah, I remember it. In fact, I found the microphone. I was just cleaning my dungeon storage area this weekend. And I was going through all my stuff, and I found my old Sony, my first mobile mic. And I used it for years, and into the 2000s, until this principal did a mic drop and popped my capsule. The kids were having a great time. He didn't like the way they were dancing, whatever that dance was that year that he didn't like. And he said, I need to use your microphone. I said, okay. He was really calm. And he grabbed it. You kids knock that off. You're never going to have another dance again. Boom. And it just, pow. And the kids jumped. And it was effective. But it trashed my mic.
On the floor.
On the table.
Oh,
but he didn't just go, he went, boom. It was, and I was just thinking, I hadn't thought about that in years until I saw that Sony mic with the windscreen popped off of it and everything. Yeah.
I haven't had the mic drop yet, and hopefully I won't. But I've had numerous people over the years, that they are using the microphone, and then it's like, what? And it lands on the screen. And I've got Shure mics that have the flat side from that.
One thing I used to do, and I've talked about this before on the show, I know I have, but when I was running karaoke for the 30 seconds I did it for my friend Dan, uh, I would buy those 3-pack of Behringer mics for like $10. So like $10 a piece.
And let them go to it.
If they drop them or destroy them or whatever, who cares?
Yeah.
Just pull another one out.
Heck, Amazon Prime, like every hour, they're probably selling a mic at that price today.
Yeah.
Crazy. Making people pay for the mic. Mark asked that.
Good luck with that.
Good luck with that. I had the one where they accidentally dropped it and they wanted to pay for it and they were so apologetic and everything. And as soon as we left that night and I sent them, gave them a call on Monday and it's like, okay, that microphone to replace it was, $150 or whatever the element was at that time. It never happens. So the making them pay for it unless you can get a credit card immediately. I saw somebody posted on a different person who had this question earlier today. They basically said, "Oh, why don't you pick up your new microphone and come on up here and let's talk about your credit card?" Kind of a thing.
Yeah,
which is the only way you could do it. So, okay,
what do you got on you?
Let's see. Let's go up to what concert would you not attend? I mean, if you could go to, if there's got to be a concert out there of someone let's make it it's got to be someone who's had some hits.
Okay.
They've had hits.
I think I would struggle, like right now, currently out there.
Over anywhere over time, you would just say, you know what, they've had big hits, and but I wouldn't go.
Now, are we talking band? Because there aren't many rappers I would want to go see live. I don't even think I'd want to go break.
We got to go.
That might be crazy.
Yeah, we got to talk bands because bands that would be more in your. Let's go. We make up some of the rules as we go here, ladies and gentlemen. So,
sure. Okay,
bands.
we'll talk bands. That's very different.
Yeah.
A band that I don't want to see. Band that I don't like. I just look at them and go, who would it be? I've seen a lot of bands. Like rock bands.
Josh Groban.
Jeez,
yeah, Kiss wouldn't be on my list of ones I wouldn't go see.
I think I would have a really hard time sitting through a Meatloaf concert.
That I could see.
Just because I don't know what song I'd be waiting for to hear. Because, I mean, after 2 out of 3 was over, it would be over. And the songs are so theatrical, and I don't enjoy that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like the overly theatrical, operatic kind of score things. I don't enjoy that very much at all. That would probably be hard. And he tours. He just fainted on stage a while back.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Now, I have friends who are convinced that I would drop dead of like the most evil torture they could possibly administer to me if they took me to an REO Speedwagon concert. But I don't really hate REO Speedwagon that much.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like REO Speedwagon. I always made fun of the guy who was the singer of REO Speedwagon because it seemed like everybody he was done with a sentence there for a couple of albums. No matter what word he ended on, the last like consonant was ruh. I can't fight this feeling any longer. Forgotten what I started fighting for. To the shore and throw away the auras forever. It drove me nuts, and I would make fun of it. So they thought I hated it, but I don't really hate him. That particular vocal style does bother me, but I'd go see him.
Let's see. We've got John Tesh. They wouldn't go see Axl Rose. Ian wants to see you at a Justin Bieber concert.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
That's
not a band.
Tesla.
I've probably seen Tesla.
So, from my personal perspective, there's two I just would not go. And I know Bob Dylan is but I don't think I could go and sit through Bob Dylan. It would just be either too depressing or just too. I'd have to get him to leave. And I mentioned this before. I'm just not a fan of Tom Petty.
Yeah, he probably do a good show though.
I'd be afraid if I'd go, I would like it, and then I'd lose that. So the one
like feeding off the hate of Tom Petty at this point.
Exactly. I gotta have my thing. So that's
right.
So I want to keep it. So let's flip it around. What's a concert that from, and it's got to be someone who's alive now, unfortunately, because we've had some really good, talented people
Right.
pass. What's a concert that you would go to if they were in town? You would be there.
I'm kind of bummed that I didn't go see Paul McCartney with my kid on Friday. I'd love to see that. Love to see that. Yeah, a year ago, and I said Bowie. Trying to think who I haven't seen that the Stones. I'm gonna see Rolling Stones.
Mm-hmm.
I still do that. So I've never seen the Rolling Stones, and I might, maybe it's too late, but I would still love to see the show.
Mm-hmm.
There's bands out there I'd love to see. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to see Aerosmith.
Now, the world's largest music festival just happened right up the road. And when I say right up the road, I mean right up the road. I could hear it from my house last week. Like, days, they didn't go. And there were everyone was there. And I wanted to go, but I've been kind of busy working on the house because it's nice weather and it's just time to do it.
Yeah.
I didn't take the time to go. But I wanted to go see Morrissey in the time because they were there. I wanted to Joe Jackson. I've never seen Joe Jackson live. I really like Joe Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
There were a couple things. Peter Gabriel and Sting did a double bill night before last up there. A lot of weirdo shows. It was weird. Like, it was like Paul McCartney was one night. The next night was like Weezer. And then the night after that was Peter Gabriel and Sting on the same stage together. So it's a wacky music festival. Everybody plays it.
Interesting.
But yeah, I see Depeche Mode in there. I never seen Depeche Mode, but I have seen Yaz live. Seen that with Alison Moyet and the whole bit. Just like two people, but still it was cool.
Just looking up, it's Poison, Three Dog Night. Good stuff there. Okay, let's jump to our next question here. The question now was about reading a crowd. How are there any tips or ideas or thoughts on how to be more effective at reading a crowd?
Honestly, the best advice I can give any DJ on reading a crowd or anything really is work on your ability to have empathy for others. This is the best advice I can give.
Yeah.
You have to kind of get into their head and have empathy. We've talked about this. Sympathy is, I really kind of feel bad for what happened for that guy. Empathy is, boy, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
And that's the empathy, I think, is what makes great DJs who can read that dance floor effective, because they can look at somebody and say to themselves, okay, yeah, well, they're 30 and they were in college 10 years ago. And 10 years ago, this was hot. And 15 years ago, they were in junior high school and this was hot. So that might work too. And I don't know, that I think is key. Empathy.
Yeah. For
everyone that's in your audience. Try to have it. I mean, I know you can't possibly know how a 90-year-old man feels, but you could probably say to yourself, I bet he would prefer something slow, and something from his time would probably really make him happy. Mm-hmm. And maybe find out a little something about him and take that and go with it. That best advice.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it, because that's putting ourselves into their shoes. And Champagne Jam just asked if you guys can put questions there. Please do in the chat. But that empathy, describing it that way, that's good, because that's how. And I wasn't using that word as I've talked about it, even with my kids as they're starting to get wanting to go on and do some things, is putting yourself in their shoes and trying to look at it from when they were into music.
Mm-hmm. Even if like I there are a lot of things I don't understand. There are a lot of walks of life I don't understand, a lot of lifestyle choices I don't understand. But that doesn't mean that I'm completely blind or oblivious to what might be their likes and dislikes. I do a lot of generalizations as a DJ. They say generalizations in life are bad.
Mm-hmm.
Make generalizations about people. But I will tell you that as a DJ, I make an awful lot of generalizations about people. I did on Saturday, and I did well with them.
Yep.
Oh, they're about this age. When they were this age, this was hot. So let's try it. And if they like that, they might like this too. It's a generalization. They might hate it. But generally speaking, the odds are that they're going to like this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the kind of things that I think about when I'm DJing. That and music and how things go together. But that is definitely a big part of it. It's playing to my crowd. Not at my crowd. I don't hate playing at my crowd. I play to my crowd.
And play to the crowd. Yep. Okay, our next question. We just had the question here, and they're talking about it a little bit. Is a gig coming up in a campground? There's no power at the campground. What would you recommend to do that? And mentions that I'm on a budget.
Okay. First of all, I got a great idea yesterday. Guy visited me. I haven't talked to him in a long time. Young DJ. Why I say young DJ? Because he's younger than me, but he's not young. He's a grown man. He's got 3 kids. He's freaking old. But he had a brilliant idea. And he was talking about wedding ceremonies. He said, I was at this place. It was this barn wedding. And they had this ceremony. And I asked him, I said, hey, I got power? He's like, yeah, there's power in the barn, no problem. And so I got there, and the barn was 450 feet away. I didn't have 450 feet worth of extension cord.
Yeah.
Oh, no, what am I going to do? And the barn said, well, we use this powered speaker. And it was something like the ELS Go series.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we use with a microphone plugged into it. Well, that helps with my mic, but what am I going to do with this? And he thought, you know what? I got a laptop. It's battery powered. I have a VMS 4.1 MIDI controller that's USB powered. And I have a battery powered speaker. I now have a wireless or battery powered ceremony system. I don't need AC. Now, I can't go for 4 hours because of the limitations of the battery on my laptop.
Mm-hmm.
However, I can go for quite a while. So if you were in a situation where you, I don't know, it depends on how long you have to play, but there are solutions like that out there. So you could absolutely take a pair of ELS Go APTs. You could take something like a VMS 5 or a VMS 4.1, which is USB powered, in your laptop with speaker cables and a wired mic, and you could do a ceremony. If you needed to go longer for like a party you're talking about, like a beach party or something like that, maybe you could look into something. I don't know. You just look at how long it would really make things last for you. But something like a power inverter. I mean, you can go full generator, but like a little power inverter is pretty handy. I've got one. It's actually a jump box from Craftsman.
Yep.
That would probably keep me going for, I would think, a couple hours on a laptop anyway.
Yeah, for sure. I have a diehard version, probably very similar, and we tested it running an electric motor, and we ran the electric motor, a blower on a furnace, and we ran a thing for 45 minutes to test it. So they can definitely go. I would probably, the 2 things I'd recommend is somebody mentioned Coleman or Honda. If you're going to do a generator, getting a 2,000 watt generator will handle 2 speakers, but running 4 speakers, i.e. subs, doesn't handle those quite as well, a 2,000 watt generator. But the little 2,000 watt camping generators, inverter generators, is certainly probably your nicest way to go. You can rent those. They're not a ton of money to rent, probably $40 for the day. Certainly an option. You mentioned the inverter. If you can get your vehicle close enough, I have done this where I've used the truck. I've had my Dodge there, and I've had the battery there, and I just plugged in. We've done parades where the truck has got the inverter up and under the hood. I've got an extension cord running under the truck to the back of the truck, and then I have the sound system plugged in off that inverter. It would say 3,000 watt inverter, 1,500 run, 3,000 peak, and I ran a couple of powered speakers off that.
Champagne Jam was pretty impressed by what I was talking about with the USB powered
controller.
Let me try to get a video out for you later on this week on that.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
A cool remote location where we can just go out there and we can just be in the middle of nowhere and get some tunes going.
Yeah.
Just for fun.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea. Where can I buy hay bales?
Nothing that's outrageously expensive.
Yeah.
Your controller is, I don't know what they are anymore, under 5 or on 3, and then your speakers are like under 2 a piece. You already own your laptop, so this is all stuff. A lot of it you already own. Some of it maybe you don't. But let me just, I'll try to get that out for you this week, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, let me see what I can do.
Yeah, that would be a good one. Okay. Let's see. And I want to do that one. We've talked about that one. There's one down here I wanted to catch. We haven't talked about this one, I don't think. How important is a web page? I've got the person was saying that they haven't done much on their web page because of all their things they're doing on social media. What are your thoughts?
Well, I don't know. The web page is just kind of a tool to live. It's like almost like a digital business card, I would think, where it gives a place for people to see maybe a few pictures of your setups, some information about you, and contact information. That's what I use it for.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't made any changes to my webpage in 2 years.
I think that's one of the trends is that they talk about SEO being kind of a thing of the past, and to a point that's part of it. As Brian said, your website now is basically your calling card, and people will find that. And really, what you want to have your website do is to get them there, and then you want to see some video of us? Go to you. Here's our YouTube channel. You want to see some pictures of us? Here's our Pinterest account. You want to see some setup. Some pre-event footage, here's our Instagram account, and have it so you have these different areas. And then, like what you see, contact for more information. Click here. So you have your call to action on it. But the web pages, having this big, beautiful web page and having everything there, those times are really kind of over, because 9 chances out of 10, they're looking at your web page with this. Mm-hmm. And social media is designed for that much better than even the best WordPress plugin. So.
Less is more.
Yeah.
I've always felt that way anyway.
Yeah, it's just not needed at the level. You still need to have it, I think, Jose, but I don't think it's not to the level it once was.
Yeah. I mean, John and I are not suggesting that it's an outdated concept. It's just, I don't think you need to be on there doing crap all the time.
Yeah. And people are like, "Oh, I haven't written anything for my blog." Yeah, probably not.
No one's reading your blog.
No one's reading it. And the SEO you get from your blog doesn't exist anymore. So shush.
Yeah.
J Funk mentions business cards. You still have to have your paper business cards because people want to grab a card at a show and okay, here, scan this QR code. Yeah, no, it doesn't happen. Oh, come in. It's an NFC. Come on. No.
Yeah, no.
Shut up. It doesn't work.
Hold it in your hand. Take a look at it. Feel the paper, the quality of the paper.
Exactly. And they can flip it over, and they, once it gets cold, all of a sudden the skirt goes flying up. It's. Wait, no, that's that glass. That's that glass. Aging myself there. Okay, the last one we're going to. Somebody was asking about tagging songs, and this will be our last one. How do you handle when you're putting songs into your library? How do you handle tagging those, or what do you do with that?
You mean, tagging, I mean, that's a little different than just organizing, right?
Yeah, tagging would be, there's
just like highlighting tunes.
So, because some of the software allows you to tag, so we can make it so these songs are all, 2016 songs, and some are pop, some are country, some are that. And
one of the coolest features I've seen, and I haven't done that in years, by the way. I just do it off of memory. I'm goofy. I'd probably be better off if I did crates and tags and all that kind of stuff. But one of the most clever things I've seen, and it's a simple thing, the VDG8 had, was the ability to color code.
Mm-hmm.
So, I thought, hey, how cool is this if you can get it through? Like, how it is. I mean, you've got several collections of songs. If there's a particular version of You Shook Me All Night Long that you prefer more than the other, yes, you should go through and delete your tracks you don't use. But if you don't do that, like I don't do that, you can, okay, I'm going to make this one hot. This one's hot. This is going to be whatever, color code yellow. This is the one I'm going to play.
Yep.
Or if there's a particular version of any song that you like, an edit that you like. 16, I know it's one that drives me crazy because there's some real anal retentive edits to that song where they take out words like, this is red food, the big ass fro. They beep ass. Like, come on. I don't want to play the ultra edited version of it. I want to play that version of it. But if I'm ever in a school situation, I suppose I need the ultra edited version.
You got to have it there.
But it's nice to color code like that. And you can even pick a color for warning content tracks or whatever. That I think is a clever way to do it. You can do it right in the program.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's definitely a way. I've gone through and made different notes and such with the music when it's come to that and such. Because then I know that if there's a song that has some profanity in it, I've got it tagged that way.
Yeah.
So if it's a song that I would actually play, I mean, there's obviously thousands of songs that we have that have got profanity we'll never play. And it's something, gang, and not that we have I'm not saying we have all the answers, but if you have something that you've used when it comes to tagging your music, put that down in the comment section down below. I see Media Monkeys mentioned here, and Winamp used to be, iTunes can go out and find some tags and such. And most of the new music we rip or we buy.
Ripping,
yeah, for ripping that was, but the stuff now that we get, most of it is tagged very, very well right from. Yeah.
Once in a while, I'll make a remix. I'll just, I don't know. I'll want a radio edit like a 12-inch, and I'll do my own edit.
Mm-hmm.
And one I've been meaning to do for a long time, and I still haven't done it. And maybe I'll sit down this week and just do it for kicks. Is a real squeaky clean edit of P Control by Prince.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't done that yet, but I need to do that, and I'll just tag it, whatever.
Yeah, that would be. I'd be interested to hear how that one turns out after it's
make it and send it to you.
Yeah, we'll have to check that out. Okay, now for our build a set. This is our time where we have a song that someone has sent in, and they actually this time they gave us a little guidance of where they wanted us to put it in the set. And this is the time that we're going to give some suggestions. You guys give suggestions. We're going to kind of build and put songs around this particular track in our playlist for the night. And we've been kind of talking about it in kind of a wedding-esque, and this one we'll probably go forward with that also in that wedding-esque. But what they said is they would like they have the song that we're going to talk about is Footloose, and they wanted that to be at the earlier part of a set. That this is basically the hook to get people on the floor, and then what do you take it from there?
Yeah, because I usually use them on the top of a set.
That's exactly. So I think they've watched our show enough to know that they would have to say it early. And then how would Brian? Is he going to work backwards, or is he going to be able to build from there?
You got to pick the tempos that go well with that. So Footloose goes incredibly well with Mickey by Tony Basil. It's almost the same boom 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 boom. So those kind of go together.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that one, John. That one's hard. But
what would you to build up to Footloose? What would you typically?
Oh, to build up to Footloose.
Let's start with that, and then we'll work our way backwards.
Oh, geez, anything, man. I mean, really, it's all of that stuff. It's rock and it's pop and it's dance. Generally 80s and 90s. I look at 80s and 90s different than I look at 70s. It's like a different animal. I don't mix those two drinks. They just make me vomit.
Mm-hmm.
So I do the 80s and 90s thing. Anything, dude. I mean, it's a top of a set song because it's just got that beat. It's hard to top. And other tunes like that is it's just hard to know what to do when you're done with it. It's like One More Time by Daft Punk. I never know what to play after that tune. So I usually play for like the last song of the night. Geez, what can you play? Anything, man. I mean,
when Two Unlimited's Get Ready for This was hot, that was kind of that in a similar way that was the one you built up to.
Oh, well, no, I started with that one.
Oh, you started with
Get Ready for This is the start of my techno set. My techno set went
okay, so you went with the techno set. I basically
followed it up with AB Logic's Hitman. And went from there. There was some really good old techno tunes that we could throw out. So
what do you guys think? We've got the idea was to use Footloose at the beginning of a set.
I think this game would be more fair. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yep.
If somebody said, I want you to start us, this would be the game, John. This is how we should be playing this game, folks. So pay attention. I'm going to make new rules.
We're making rules up as we go.
This is how we're going to do it. All right? You're going to tell me right now, you're playing Heard It in a Love Song by Marshall Tucker Band. Somebody comes up to you and says, I need you to play Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. How many songs are you going to use to make a smooth transition from Marshall Tucker Band to the Bee Gees? What tunes are they going to be? That is the test.
No, that would be interesting. So give us a slow song, and give us the target song.
It doesn't matter if it's a slow song. It doesn't matter if it's a fast song. Tell us the now song that we're playing.
The now
You're going
song.
to throw a curveball at us. We're in a funky set. We're doing Erotic City by Prince, and someone comes up and says, could you play Still the One by Shania Twain? How are you going to build that?
Okay, let's practice this right now. Ian, you're out there. I know you're watching. Ian, give us our current song and give us a song where we need to go to. Give us the request. So Ian, we're going to give him a little bit here because that'll take about 30 seconds, and he'll think about it. So we need our current song that we're playing right now, and then Footloose in a classic country. I actually used Footloose coming out of a country set because we had built up to it, and I believe I came out of Calling Baton Rouge and went into Footloose because Calling Baton Rouge built that tempo up, and then of course went into Footloose, which was at that tempo.
You know, Jay Brennan once said that, you know, the measure of a good DJ isn't knowing, you know, it isn't taking a request for You Shook Me All Along. It's knowing what 5 songs to play from where you are right now
to build up to it.
Build up to You Shook Me All Along.
Okay, so Ian's got it. Let's see what he's going to come up with now. This is live TV with a slight delay. We've got about a 30-second delay.
I really think this is the real.
This would be See, it'll take us.
I can go back and forth on this. This is like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, is what it is.
Okay. Well, he's still thinking. We've got Footloose and Cotton Eye Joe. I've worked. Okay, so the current song is Happy to get to Family Tradition.
That's not too bad.
Okay, so we're playing Happy. We're doing that, and we wanted to get to Family Tradition.
Mm-hmm. How many chess moves can you make it until you can do checkmate? That's the game.
Mm-hmm. So from Happy, that's not the end of a set for me. I wouldn't put it that one at the end of a set. So I would want to have to
standalone tune. Happy is an early night tune. This is how I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
When I play early night songs, this is how I do it. Every song is different. Every song is, what's he doing next? What's he doing next? I'm not doing these long runs of things that all sound exactly the same. It's choppy. I'm going happy, twist and shout, whatever. Just I keep going. A wagon wheel, whatever the hot tune is, whatever I think the crowd's going to respond to. It's a variety. It can go anywhere. So I'm not too worried about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a big deal. We start with Happy, and then from Happy, we go. Okay, here's what we got to know about Happy, first of all. Happy's a throwback track. Happy kind of sounds like a Curtis Mayfield song.
Mm-hmm.
You go into some kind of old 70s funky stuff. So, like, let's say you could do, oh boy, I don't know, you could do something like James Brown's I Feel Good if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Weird. Because it's damn near the same tempo.
Yep.
It's soulful. And from there, you could go into, let's see, I'm trying to think of something that's more on a rock tip. Going back, we could go, oh yeah, what if we did like Spencer Davis Group or something like that? Give Me Some Lovin' or something. Like that, like 60s bubblegum stuff. And then you go into some Johnny Cash. Like, because it's, Johnny Cash is hip, and it was 60s stuff. And I don't know, anything Cash, or you could do like,
you almost needed to segue between Give Me Some Lovin' and Johnny Cash.
Well, I'm thinking rock and 60s. And if you got a segue, what is it?
I'm trying to think of, you'd almost need something in there because Ring of Fire, but then Ring of Fire should actually follow Family Tradition up if you're going to use Ring of Fire, which is one of his more popular ones.
Yeah.
So we should almost, because Family Traditions is a little bit slower.
I know. I got it. This is what you do. Somehow you find yourself into something like Sweet Home Alabama. You find yourself into Southern rock.
And
then you go into Family Tradition.
Yeah, that would get you there.
Mm-hmm. That would get you there. That'd be one route.
That would definitely get you there.
If your map genie would say that was the best route, but there's a route.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times you never know. You're just kind of watching your audience and seeing what they're responding to as well.
For sure.
blindly. I'm just trying to think of that bridge.
And it might be that it's somebody, Twisted Monkey mentioned Happy to Get Lucky. I'm guessing Twisted Monkey was with us in Atlantic City 3 years ago, was it, or whatever, when those songs were like all we heard that summer.
Which one?
Happy to or to Get Lucky. Was there. It seemed like all we heard that summer was not happy. Yeah. Crazy. It's yeah, Sweet Home Alabama. Brian, I was thinking Brown Eyed Girl too. Mark mentions that if that could be put into that transitional time frame.
I think that you really, really, really do need that Southern rock transition into Hank Williams Jr.
Yeah,
That's going to make it.
You need that bridge into the country.
It's the bridge.
And it could be that would give you kind of that feel. You could even use Kid Rock's All Summer Long. That might you
totally could, and you could do
because it has that appeal and it has that feel that that would bring you around.
Definitely, and I think you're onto something there. And you could do that. You could probably go Happy into that, into just Family Tradition if you wanted to.
Yeah,
do it in 3 moves.
Yeah, and then you come out of it with Ring of Fire, and you've just appeased the older country crowd for at least another 45 minutes, so you can get into other music and come out of that with Mark just mentioned that too. yeah, he thought of it just as we were talking about it. So
I got all excited. Somebody mentioned Steely Dan in the last half hour, and we haven't brought him up again.
Yeah, we haven't. Two Live Crew, that works really well at weddings.
Yeah.
The Aerosmith Run DMC.
What about them?
They mentioned that, walk this way.
Mark, it is like playing chess. That's my whole point. How many moves does it take to checkmate?
Mm-hmm.
The least amount of moves possible.
Yeah, and least amount of,
or you could make it real simple. And I had a friend who used to play the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon game, but we didn't try to do it in the least amount of moves. We tried to do it in the most moves. We made it real intricate. And it was fun. We have fun with it.
Yeah. I think the Kid Rock would probably be our short version.
It'd be good. Yeah.
That would be the quick one. And again, it depends on what your response is from Happy, because if Happy is going over and you've got a younger crowd, you may end up adding another song after. Somebody mentioned Get Lucky. We may go something like that, and then go to the Kid Rock that transitions to the more of the country feel.
I could see doing like Signed, Sealed, Delivered by Stevie Wonder, followed by, again, back to Sweet Home Alabama, followed by Family Tradition.
Could we come out of Happy with, would be a huge tempo change, but Superstition.
I don't think it matters.
Would Superstition from Stevie Wonder work out of Happy?
It's a lot slower.
Yeah, it's a huge change, but it's got that.
I never get a good response from that track.
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, I used to. But ultimately, you could do like September by Earth, Wind and Fire if you really wanted to jack them up.
Mm-hmm.
Set back up, and try to build into your Southern rock from there, and then bring them down with Family Tradition. You could do that too.
Yeah, that because Family Tradition is more of a bringing them down. Playing Against the Bride, Queen. Not following it. That
chess.
So you guys are back at the chess thing. You guys are
Bishop the Pastor.
And the pawns are the little kids that want to go up there and touch the DJ gear. Okay.
Yeah. Pawns are the groomsmen.
Yeah, they're the ones that.
King is the guy right in the damn jet.
Yeah. So I think let's do our little build a set. I like that. Let's give for the next week when you guys send in your thoughts, the song that is playing and where we need to go, and we're going to do a couple of them. I think next week. I think that'll give us a couple of different avenues to go from point A to point B. So.
And there will be times where I'm doing parties, and I'll get that request, and I'll be like, God, I got it. I could play it right now, but it would just take 2 hours of work and throw it out the window. So I'm going to just set it aside. In the old days, I physically would sit it aside. It was in front of me, a record or whatever. But I'll get to it, and I'll wait for that moment, and I'll wait for that moment, and I'll wait for it. And sometimes it takes an hour before I feel like I want to put that tune on.
Yep, I've had that.
So, I'm not always in a hurry. Sometimes I have to be, but sometimes it's like, man, there's so many other better options. I just don't want to try to get this on as soon as I can. I want to just hold this thing back and just hope they forget they asked for it. And you just give them something real good for their money. But yeah, I mean, if you make them impossible, they're going to be hard to do. If you make them legitimate, hey, I really have this situation where I have to go from this to this a lot, maybe we can help you. And then there are songs that are just kind of like couplers. Like, I don't know if you know what a coupler is. It just connects two things together. They're coupler tunes. I don't know how to describe them. They don't really fit with anything in particular, but they fit with everything.
Yep.
There are tunes like that you can use.
Give an example of one of those.
A coupler tune?
Mm-hmm.
Really Happy by Pharrell is a coupler tune. It doesn't really go anywhere. You can throw it in anywhere you want to.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of tunes like that. And there are some, like Footloose is a coupler tune.
Yep.
Footloose can join, you mentioned that earlier, it can join two things, any two things you want.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of tunes like that with just a lot of power. Twist and Shout by the Beatles. Who cares when you play that? DJ AM, I mean, I've heard this story over and over and over again. DJ AM would do his super hip cool set in Vegas at midnight. No matter what he was doing, he would drop Chubby Checkers, the Twist, out of nowhere. And the place exploded. And then he'd go into something else. That was a little different than what he was doing before. But he'd play the whole song. And
the crowd goes crazy.
And then, yeah. So it's all art, man. Just have fun with it and go with it and try things. Worst thing can happen is, you don't dance.
Sometimes it gets played 4 gigs later, or maybe not even then.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up, Brett mentioned that he's going to be doing a high school alumni banquet dance in September, playing everything from In the Mood to new stuff. In our neck of the woods, and we have these smaller schools that are doing these all class reunion things, where basically every grade level is invited from old to new. Have you ever done one of those?
I've never DJed one of those, but I've attended them because my father my father was an orphan. So the orphanage that he came from, they have a thing.
Yep.
And my dad's in his 80s. So, and the kids that are there now aren't orphans. They're repeat offenders. So it was a very interesting demographic at this place. But yeah, I was all years for like, I don't know, something ridiculous, like 80, 70 years or however,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they were all there. And what are you going to do? What are you really going to do to please everybody?
And that's what you mentioned, In the Mood, of course. I one thing to keep in mind is that In the Mood came out and it was popular. Granted, it's because of the swing dancing has been used more. But you get to the point now where someone who is probably there, the oldest ones are going to be, okay, let's say the oldest ones are 80 years old. 80 years old, if we go back, they would have been in high school, so we're going back 65 years approximately. And that puts us back at 1950. Right, so the music from the mid 40s to the mid 50s was kind of their high school, teen, and high school years, and during that time frame, there's a little bit of that, but there's probably not going to be as much oldies played from that 50 to 65 range as there was 10 years ago, 15 years ago, just because that demographic is not dancing and they're kind of dying out.
Speaking of my dad. Dad will be 83 this year, and his thing has always been like really old country, really old 40s, 30s, 40s, some 50s. He likes that a lot.
Yeah.
My mom is 75, and she's a young 75. So mom is about the Beatles. Mom is not the Beatles, the Bee Gees. This is kind of, she's about all kinds of stuff. She's about 80s music. She's about 90s music, whatever. So although my father doesn't know this music, and it's not something that he listens to, he likes it by association because my mom likes it.
Right.
So if he's hearing something mom digs, then he's cool with it. He can hear Bee Gees songs. He can hear, whatever mom's into, I guess. Elton John stuff or whatever, and he digs it because mom digs it. But he wouldn't normally like it, but he likes it because mom likes it. I think that happens a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about any party, wedding, reunion, whatever. It's not always particularly about their favorite song, but it's about stuff that makes them feel something.
Yeah.
For whatever that's worth.
Yeah, and I think that having the different ages and such like that, granted there's only 5-year difference roughly, but it will have a difference because especially if your mom's more progressive in her music taste.
Yes, and that's the point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very. I mean, dad's a truck driving farmer. Mom was from the city.
Yeah. So you definitely have that.
So different.
And that whole country thing, really, for a lot of people, they may not have been into country music at that time, but boy, when they got out of it, and especially if they have a rural background, that's what they grew up with after that point, because they grew up with dad out milking cows and doing their thing.
You know, it's funny. This morning, I think it was this morning. No, it was yesterday. My daughter came over, and she actually likes country.
Mm-hmm.
She went to go see Tim McGraw like the week before last.
Yeah.
So Paul McCartney 1 week and
Tim McGraw.
Somebody opened for her. I don't know who it was, and they did some song about family is family, and I don't know, this weird goofy song, and she thought it was hilarious. It's like, I got to play this song for you, Dad. It reminds me of you and your family. Okay. So I'm listening to this. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm so happy that the music that I enjoy doesn't like make me think about my own life. I'm so happy that my music is just brainless escapism. And I don't have to worry about my brothers and sisters and my uncle and my mom or my dead grandma or my broke truck, or hip hop does the same thing. They're talking about bullets flying and popping caps and doing time and just doing terrible things.
I don't want to think.
I don't want to think about that stuff, man. That's why Prince was so cool. Dance music, sex, romance. Yeah. That's me, man. I don't want to think. I don't want to worry. I don't want to remember. I hate remembering. I don't like that. I want to just escape. That's music for me. Just a little commentary there for you.
And that means we won't be going to a Mike and the Mechanics concert.
No Mike and Mechanics. No storytelling. I don't want to hear any storytelling.
Yeah, no, that.
Just say,
Oh, gosh.
Dance. Yeah, that's a deep song for me right there. Dance by Chic. There you go. That's as deep as I want to go. I want to put on my boogie shoes. That's my song.
There you go. Get the boogie shoes on.
Boogie shoes. I want to put them on.
No. All right, gang. We're going to wrap things up tonight. So for those of you who want to submit some songs, make sure you give us the song we're playing that's going on the dance floor right now and where the request that we need to go to, and we'll have some fun with those next week. Put those in the comment section down below, not in the side, because that we can't get this comment section. But thank you guys for your sharing and your ideas here on YouTube. And if you've been watching us on Facebook, we couldn't get to the chat tonight to follow along. It's been all on YouTube tonight. But again, we thank you for being with us again tonight.
Mr. John.
Yeah, this is good. I'm glad we were able to get back together, and we've got a stretch, and in just a few weeks we're going to be able to do this from Atlantic City.
And I will do this with more than 3 hours sleep next time. So
yeah, this will be fun. We're gonna see what kind of connection we have and where we can go to do our show from Atlantic City. Now that week we're probably not gonna be able to stream on both YouTube and Facebook. We're gonna try, but probably not. But we'll keep you guys up.
3 weeks off from that now?
Yeah, it's coming quick.
Okay, just so I got 3 weeks.
Yeah. We got 3 weeks to get our
cool.
So once again, that's the songs. You guys got that. If you have any questions or anything for next week's question and answer, please put those in the comments, or you can message me on Facebook, whatever works best for you. I'm John Young with the Disc Jockey News. This is BSR Brian S. Red. Thanks for watching. Good night, everyone.